pass. Journey Maines. Koger to the corner to Baker on the way from downtown. There's Baker right there with the rainmaker. To the corner, Carter Bell. Pulling the trigger and making a big time splash right there. Carter Bell. And that's going to be a deep fly ball left center field. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Lovegrove makes that turn. She'll head into second base. Again, hanging the signs behind the plate, Ryder Gibson. And that's going to be rifled right out there to center field. Nice piece of hitting right there by Hayden James. And that will be. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome live here on your home of the Raiders, the WHS Network here on YouTube.com, as well as the IHSAA Champions Network here from beautiful Raider Gymnasium in Selma, Indiana. Back at it, our home opener of this 2026 season as your Wapahani Raiders take on the Richmond Red Devils here tonight. Again, as always, I'm your play-by-play broadcaster, Brandon Morvillius. Alongside here with me is cameraman Jordan Redbeard McCoy, ready for another action-packed night of Wapahani Lady Raider volleyball here this evening, as we'll get right into things here with our Raiders Live pre-game show. Again, presented here by Air Park Door. Air Park Door is a proud sponsor of us here on the WHS Network. They're located at 321 West Ontario Drive in Muncie, Indiana. And they have been voted as Muncie's quest for the best for the level of professionalism and knowledge they possess, along with the quality service they provide for a reasonable price. For more information, check them out on Facebook at Air Park Door and give them a call at 765-741-3667. So, obviously, a little bit of a rough start here for this junior varsity team to begin the season, and varsity team as well. Again, we're 0-2. It's not, ideal and what, you're hoping for going into every season and every ball game. But again, these girls continue to learn. Ideally, yet again, every single time, whether it be in practice or in a ball game, every single time you're out there, you're looking to get better, not only individually, but more importantly, as a team, as a collective unit here. And, the loss there at Delta to begin the year, no doubt was a tough one. Took it on the chin right there, no doubt about that. Then last Thursday we was at Lapel, suffered a tough one there. So looking to get win number one. You might as well go ahead and do it right here on your home floor. We have great opportunity right here against a 4A team here in Richmond. They've always had a pretty good volleyball team. It's not been, maybe top-tier elite, but they've always been a pretty good team over there. And a little bit of a rough start here to their season, but they're already 6 games into this thing. But it should really be interesting to see how Wapahani responds to, the early season adversity right here, in which, things haven't necessarily quite went their way. How do you bounce back from those first 2 losses? Do you welcome the challenge here tonight, and hopefully, as I already mentioned, look to get better. You're here to win a ball game, but you're also here to get better. And I think that, the better you get, the more confidence you have. I think the more success that this team will eventually have as well, and that can be victories, W's there in the win column. So we're looking forward to seeing what these girls can do here tonight, and hopefully it will be a great night for Wapahani Lady Raider volleyball here on the WHS Network. So please stick around here with us. We'll have our Raiders Live pregame show rolling on here, again presented by Air Park Door. We'll be back here with more on your home of the Raiders, the WHS Network. All right, folks, welcome back here with our Raiders Live pregame show presented by Air Park Door. Again, just some finishing comments right here. Again, Wapahani, obviously, with our JV game here tonight, it's important to get games in as much as possible. Unfortunately, tomorrow night, the JV team will not be in action. We're supposed to host Blue River tomorrow night. They do not have a JV team, so it'll be a varsity-only game tomorrow night at 6 p.m. We hope you guys can come on out, support the girls, and root them on to victory tomorrow night. So, again, at least to begin the week, only one game here tonight. Again, the JV team then won't play again until Thursday night when they travel over to West Hill. So, looking to get win number one. Hope you guys stay tuned in here throughout the evening and root on our Raiders. And at this time, we'll go ahead and step aside once again here for a quick commercial break. And we'll be back here with tonight's rosters and tonight's first serve here on your home of the Raiders, the WHS Network. All right, folks, welcome back here on the WHS Network. Again, we didn't have the volume on. Redbeard did pan over to both rosters here tonight as Richmond and Wapahani set to go toe-to-toe here in tonight's junior varsity volleyball matchup. Again, 6 games in here for Richmond, only 2 here for Wapahani. Again, very young team. I think definitely has a lot of talent there that is just waiting to kind of burst at the seams right here and really flourish. And I think as the season goes along, you will continue to see that. And hopefully we'll see a great example of that here tonight. And hopefully these girls really put their best foot forward right here, come together as a team, and hopefully dominate and find a way to get the W, not only in tonight's junior varsity game, but tonight's varsity game here as well. Again, we did want to thank our game sponsor here this evening. That is Selma American Legion Post 437. Again, Selma American Legion Post 437, located at 315 South Albany Street in downtown Selma, Indiana. They offer membership opportunities, so to become a Sons of the American Legion member or a woman for a membership in the auxiliary, just give them a call at 765-282-7020. They also serve lunch and dinner daily, along with daily specials throughout the week. Again, you can get their menu. You can find that on underneath their photos section on their Facebook page, Selma Legion. They're open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and they're open Sunday from 12 to 7. So, again, a special thanks again to our game sponsor here tonight, and that is Selma American Legion Post 437. So, it looks like we've got both teams' lineups correct. We're ready to get this party started here tonight. Again, big thanks to our officials here this evening, Brian Humphrey and Rick Foley. Okay, so we're going to have number 15, Michaela Pruitt, back to serve. And that will get things started here tonight again from beautiful Raider Gymnasium with a 1-0 Wapahani lead here on this Monday, August the 24th, 2026. Again, 5:58 p.m. Again, I'm play-by-play broadcaster Brandon Morvillius. Alongside of here with me is cameraman Jordan Redbeard McCoy. And there's Lila Parker with an ace, 2-0 Wapahani. Well defended right there on the net, number 1, Jakayla Wooten. So tied at 2. And it looks to be number 14, Brooklyn Beach, back to serve. Oh, excuse me, it's number 12, Haley Webb. So 3-2 Raiders. Serve here from Sophia Lash. That will be out of bounds this time around, 4-3. So we'll have number 1, Wooten, back to serve. Received and shanked backwards here by number 16, Maddie Duncan. So tied at 4, now an ace. Good here for Wooten. We'll put the Red Devils on top here by 1. Reed will get it across here for Wapahani. The setup here to number 7, Perkins. Mitchell is there. Now Duncan will not get that one over the net, and that is now 4 consecutive put on the board here by the Red Devils. Parker. There's Dargo. Duncan will get it across, but on the right side of the antenna and out of bounds. So again, after a promising start, Richmond now started to find their footing here a little bit. Dug out there, nice reception there from Mitchell. Again, the ball was sent back over the net. Reed digs it out. Mitchell gets that one back over and down in play. Again, I think might have caught the Red Devils off balance there a little bit. Wasn't expecting her to send that over the net, and ends up working out in favor here of the Raiders this time around. 7-5 now with Dargo back to serve. Received there by number 8, Van Meter. Duncan's there to dig it out. Reed with a setup to Mitchell there from the left side, and she palmed the ball. Gonna get her there with a lift. 8-5. So we'll have number 11, Raylyn Dunham, subbing into the ball game here for Richmond, and is now back to serve. Parker, Reed on to Mitchell. Shanked off there to the right side and out of play. That will be another ace, this time here for Dunham. So it's now been an 8-1 run here for the Red Devils here in set 1. And after being down 4-2 early, things have went a little haywire here for the Raiders. But still a long way to go in this one. Reed there tips it over. Free ball there for the Red Devils. Now Parker. Reed sets it up to Mitchell. And that's going to head out of bounds. Dargo. Reed now to the middle to Van Dievender. Just a little bit of mistiming right there. But that will force the Raiders to take a timeout. It's a 10-1 run put together here by the Red Devils. 12-5, set 1. We'll step aside, and we'll be back with more right after these messages from Lipscomb Laboratory. All right, again, welcome back. Following the timeout there from Wapahani, it's Richmond's serve and currently a 7-point lead. But following the timeout, the service there will cost them one, and hopefully the Raiders can make them pay. That was a dandy right there from Kinsey Reed, an ace to get the Raiders back within 5. Again, Reed back to serve once again for Wapahani. Goes pretty much about darn near close to the same exact spot. Dargo digs it out. That was a real nice pass right there. Set up there to Mitchell. On the attack there in the middle, that was number 6, Obi. And she will record the kill. Back to a 6-point Red Devils lead as we'll have a substitution, number 18, who is not on our roster sheet, will now come into the ballgame. Dargo gets over there. Wapahani will get it over the net. Again, great job there by Dargo to get to that ball. It was very close to the sideline. But again, just kind of things did not come to fruition the way that that the Raiders were hoping it would there now on that point. And now some miscommunication will give the Red Devils another one. 15-7. Again, quite the run that Richmond has put together here. Again, now a 13-3 run. We'll have a substitution now, number 15, Sophia Lash will enter the ball game. Duncan will have a seat. Lash is there. Reed sets it up to Mitchell in the middle. Dug out originally there by Washington, and that is down in play. So 16-8, your score. Sydney Van Devender back to serve. Nice one right there, fielded there by number 2, Kinsley Washington. Just unfortunately, Wapahani cannot seem to get anything going in the right direction. Again, not for the lack of trying. They're putting forth great effort, but just unfortunately, things are not going their way. As of right now, anyway. Received there by Lash. Parker on to Mitchell. Dug out there by number 18. Free ball for Wapahani. Back to Lash in the middle. In there, riding the line for the kill is Sophia Lash. So the Raiders back within 8. Maya Mitchell now back to serve. And right inside the sideline. Again, Mitchell was threading the needle there on the serve, but did a really nice job. Put a little English on it there a little bit and kept that one in. Left side attack out of bounds by number 12. Haley Webb there on the left side attack. Again, the Raiders trying to put forth great effort right here, trying to find their way back into this thing. Free ball, here we go. Van Devender, Reed on the lash. Yes! Quite the recipe for success this time around. 17-12. The kill for Sophia. That's her second. The last about 3 or 4 points here for Wapahani. Another really nice serve there from Maya Mitchell. Dargo, Reed back to Lash again. It's got a little underneath that one and sent that one soaring through the air and out of bounds this time around. But still, a good stretch right there. We rattled off 4 consecutive. Now we've got to get right back at it again right here. Possibly get another 4 or 5 more points. Free ball here for the Raiders. There's Mitchell. Reed sets there in the middle to Lash. Yes! Just a little soft touch right there on that one from Lash. As that one drops right down, smack dab in the middle of everybody. So again, Wapahani giving themselves a fighting chance here. Been down by 8-9 points. And there's an ace from Lila Parker. And you can see, smiles on faces, confidence building. Now you start stringing some points together. Then you start to believe in yourself again. Reed back to Lash again. Yes! That back left corner wide open for days. That was a real nice set from Kenzie Reed and well executed there by Sophia Lash. Again, 18-15. Parker with the serve. Received there by number 18. The setup on the attack there was Van Meter. Parker, Reed, and some miscommunications. That's going to be 4 hits. So we'll have a substitution now for Richmond, number 7, Trentale Perkins will sub back into the ball game, and Mitchell, I think she was, I'm not quite sure if she was trying to get out of the way of that or what exactly. Got the hands up. Again, just didn't work out that time around. Right back at it. Here's Van Devender. Reed back sets there to Van Devender. And they will get it over after the ball bounced up and down there on top of the rafters. Lash, Dargo right back, no. And again, some miscommunication between Lash and Mitchell. Mitchell said she had it. Lash bailed out. And again, just some mistiming, some miscommunication. Again, there's never a good time for that to happen, but especially in this instance, it's crunch time, and we need points. That is out of bounds. Great job there by Mitchell to recognize that was sailing out. To give them another opportunity right here, we'll have Sophia Lash back to serve. 21-16 Richmond here in set number 1 of the evening. Oh, that is unfortunate there. So served out of bounds as Maddie Duncan will return to action for Wapahani. And it will be number 1, Jakyla Wooten, back to serve here for Richmond. On top here by 6. And Wapahani's had it down to, roughly 3 points. And there's an ace for Wooten. So again, we were so close. And unfortunately now the wheels have kind of fell off a little bit. Let's see if we can regather ourselves here in the closing moments of this first set. There's a service there for Wooten. Point for Wapahani. And we'll have number 3, Shaylee Dargo, back to serve. And a rotation violation here on the Red Devils. We'll inch the Raiders just a little bit closer. Tipped over there by number 15, Michaela Pruitt. And that was enough to get the job done for now set point for Richmond. Number 11, Raylan Dunham, back to serve. Parker Reed tries to track it down, and Mitchell will get it over. Nice hustle by both ladies. And that is hit out of bounds, left side there by Trenttail Perkins. So let's see who is set to serve next. And it looks like that will be number 10, Kenzie Reed. Received by Washington. Nice job to clear on the net there by Mitchell. All right, free ball. There's Duncan. Oh. And that pass unfortunately spelled their demise here in set 1. 25-19, Richmond will take the first set. Make sure to stick around here with us. Set number 2 coming up here on your home of the Raiders, the WHS Network. All right, folks, welcome back here with our Dr. Care J. Wolf DDS PC game break. Again, Richmond took the opening set here this evening, 25-19. Hopefully, again, what you've seen right there about the midway point there for Wapahani, if we can find that again and play that way from start to finish, then I think this could definitely be very, very promising for these young ladies. But, one thing we can't afford to have happen is you go out here, you start digging yourself a hole early here. You're down, 7, 8, 9-2 or 9-3, whatever the case might be. And, you're just in a bind from the get-go and trying to play catch-up the entire time. You can't afford that to happen. And, we had a nice little comeback right there. Again, we got within 3 there in the first set, 2 or 3 points. And unfortunately, it just did not go the way that we was hoping that it would. So, again, first set, put that behind you. Get ready here for set number 2. And we already have a rotation violation here on Wapahani here to begin the set. Oh, was? Okay, yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah, so it was a foot fault, I guess. So a foot fault there on Maya Mitchell was the official call. Dargo gets it over. Free ball here for the Red Devils. Wooten. Mitchell digs it. Reed sets it. Parker sends that one long and gets the job done. There's Washington mishandles that one. The kill for Lila. Ties it up here at 1. That was number 4, Mackenzie Smith, on the attack. So the kill for Mackenzie. As we'll have another substitution for the Red Devils, number 10. That is Shania Marshall. Now subbing into the ball game with number 12, Haley Webb, back to serve. Mitchell, Reed will get to it. Lash there from the right side. Out of bounds, no touch there by Richmond. 3-1 Red Devils. Lash back at it again, dug out by number 11, Dunham. A 50-50 ball there between Wooten and Lash. Good job there by Kinsey Reed. Again, good up right there. Give him a good pass to work with. But then, again, unfortunately, the miscommunication has been a little bit of an issue at times. And that will be served out of bounds. Point there for Wapahani. Much needed point, and hopefully we'll get things going here a little bit now as Sophia Lash will drop back behind the service line to serve. Received there by Washington. Set on to Marshall. Free ball for Wapahani. Lash. Reed on the Van Devender. No. Just a bit too far. So Jakyla Wooten now back to serve. Sophomore here for Richmond. Lash, Reed, Van Devender, dug out there by Webb. Give him a good ball to work with right there. Mitchell lays out for it. Great hustle. Again, a couple of free ball opportunities right here. Van Devender able to get that one over. Now from the left side, that was number 10, Marshall. 6-2 Richmond. Not much Reed could do with that one. And that ball shanked off there to the right side. Then Reed tried to get over there a little bit, but unfortunately, Richmond right now in the driver's seat, and Wapahani is trying to find their way through this one. That time it's number 4, Mackenzie Smith from the right side. And again, this is just what I was talking about right there at the beginning, or before the second set started, about how, you can't afford to dig yourself a hole, especially early on in a ball game right here, as that will be served out of bounds. But, you don't want to be in those 8-2, 8-3, 9-3 spots. You obviously, ideally, you want to be on the winning side of that. But, you start putting yourself in a bad spot early, that's tough to come back from, and we've seen that there in that first set. Nice tip right there by Mitchell. Left side now by Marshall. Last digs it. Reed on to Van Devender. Yes! Reed-Van Devender connection. 8-4 following the kill from Sydney. So we will have number 3, Shaylee Dargo, back to serve. And now a rotation violation here on Richmond. So again, Richmond's trying to get things figured out. And you know what? While we have an opportunity, let's see if they're going to have a lineup check right here. If so, then we'll recognize some of our sponsors. If not, then I'm not going to have time to do that, and we'll get to it later. Okay, so it ended up being an inadvertent whistle. Things are starting to go off the rails a little bit. Okay, so we're all squared away again. So again, redoing it, 8-4. And Deaver gets a hand on it. Set on to Marshall, mishandled there. So it's still all worked out in the end here for Wapahani. Parker, Reed on to Mitchell. That was actually a really nice shot right there from Maya. And that one will fall in. Again, Dargo and Van Devender was close to the line over there. Both backed off, thinking it was going to drop out of bounds, and that close ball ended up falling in. And we've got a 9-5 affair. That was number 14, Brooklyn Beach, back to serve just a moment ago. Again, Mitchell didn't quite get all of it, but she got enough of it, and that's all that matters. So credit Maya Mitchell there with the kill. 9-6 now. Kinsey Reed back to serve. And a brief stoppage here on the floor. They need to have a little clean up here on aisle 4. All right, so now we're all squared away again. Again, here's Kinsey Reed is back to serve here for Wapahani. Good ball. And an ace right there for Kinsey Reed. Nice floater serve. Set to the left side. Marshall skips it over. Mitchell lays out for it. Now Parker on Dargo. I think some was thinking that might have been 2 hits. But nothing's called, so we continue on. Good ball there for the young lady for Richmond. 10-7 now with number 10, Shania Marshall, back to serve. Mishandled there by Reed, and that will be an ace. Dargo on to Parker. Mitchell gets it over. Well struck, well planted there in that back left corner. So Maya with another kill gets the Raiders back within 3 as number 18 will check back in for the Red Devils. And Sydney Van Dievender will now be back to serve. Let's see if she can deal some aces right here. We'd like to see that. I thought that was going to be one right there. That was a great serve. Parker on the lash. Right there was number 11, Dunham. And Richmond's going the wrong way right there. That was a nice pair of hands right there by athletic director Brad Miller. He about took out Jamie Noble while retrieving the volleyball, but that all worked out. Nobody got hurt. Set to Webb. Mishandled there, and another point here for the Raiders. So now Wapahani starting to go on their run, and we will have a timeout, this time by the Richmond Red Devils. And during this timeout, we'd like to thank some of our sponsors here this evening. Again, we can't do what we do without them. So we would like to send out, first and foremost, a big thank you here to Next Home Elite Real Estate hometown realtor Courtney Felton. She's your hometown realtor with Next Home Elite Real Estate and proudly supports Wapahani High School Athletics and the WHS Network. Whether you're buying your first home, selling your current home, or simply have questions about the local real estate market, Courtney is here to help. Give Courtney a call today at 765-748-6334 and let her make your next move your best move. Courtney wishes all the student athletes and their families a wonderful, successful, and memorable season, and go Raiders. So again, a big thank you there to Next Home Elite Real Estate hometown realtor Courtney Felton for her sponsorship of us on the WHS Network. 11-10. Wapahani finds themselves only down by 1 again after being down 8-2 early in this one. Free ball for Wapahani. That could have been maybe a little over the net. Maybe not. Parker gets it over. Free ball for the Red Devils. Dargo. Parker on the lash. Yes! And we're all tied up at 11. Heck yes. Again, seeing improvement. Things start going your way, then so does confidence. Confidence builds, positivity builds, and next thing you know, you might have a lead right here. And sent that one deep. A line drive shot right there from number 6, Daylin Obie. So 12-11, number 1, Wooten back in for the Red Devils. That was number 6, Obie back to serve just a moment ago. Parker gets it over. Free ball for Richmond. And well executed. Nice set. And nice spike right there from Haley Webb. And now a rotation violation here on Richmond. So a costly point there for the Red Devils. Wapahani look to take full advantage. Back in comes Tinsley Washington for Richmond. And number 2, Maya Mitchell, now back to serve. And just out of bounds. Very close serve right there for Mitchell. And unfortunately couldn't keep that between the lines. So we'll have another sub for the Red Devils. Number 4, Mackenzie Smith will return to the floor. And it'll be number 11, Raylan Dunham, back to serve, as that one will head straight into the net. Back to a 1-point Red Devils lead with number 8, Lila Parker, back to serve. Nice one there from Parker. It's up to the middle there to Wooten. Parker, great up right there on the Dargo. Dunham's there on the Wooten again. Mistimed her jump, but got enough of it to get it over and really kind of creates a little deception right there as well. So back to a 2-point advantage with number 10, Shania Marshall, returning to the floor as well for the Red Devils. Webb back to serve. Mitchell, how about that? Again, great hustle to get over there in time. Again, off the pass, the ball went over the net and landed in the middle of everybody, and there was nobody even anywhere close to that ball. So again, not ideally how you draw it up, but it gets the job done. And yet again, you're in the business of scoring points. Might not always necessarily be pretty, but if it gets the job done, that's all that matters. Lash back to serve. Let's see if they get it over. They will. Lash will get to it. And not enough real estate there for Parker. So again, another tie game that winds up becoming another 1-point lead here for Richmond. The Raiders have tied it up. I think that's the second or third time the second set that we've tied the game, and then right thereafter, Richmond still has another answer. So it will be Jakyla Wooten back to serve. 16-15 Red Devils over your Raiders here in set 2 again. If you're just tuning in here for the first time this evening, Richmond took the opening set 25-19. Shank there to the back, and Richmond was going the wrong direction. And how about that? Wapahani finally broke through and have now taken the lead 17-16. There's Lash. Parker on to Mitchell. Set up to Marshall there on the left side. Parker will get to it. Again, gave him a good ball to work with. Just unfortunately, the Raiders couldn't capitalize this time. So tied at 17. Number 14, Brooklyn Beach, back into the ball game and will be behind the service line to serve. Van Devender. Free ball for the Red Devils. Marshall on the attack. Oh, that ball was sent long, but unfortunately for the Raiders this time around, that ball ended up deflecting off the fingertips of Sophia Lash and out of bounds. So the point there for Richmond puts them back in front here by 1, but now a serving error. So back and forth we go. Lash is there. Dargo on to Mitchell. Free ball for the Red Devils. And to the middle again, mistimed by number 6, Obi. All right, so 19-18, Kinsey Reed back to serve. That was a job well done there by that young lady. Number 11, Dunham. Again, off the pass there from Marshall. Didn't have much to work with. Just really, just about literally tipping the ball right back over the net. About the only place she had. And that worked out well for her and the Red Devils. So tie game here at 19. Dunham now to number 12. That is Haley Webb. Once again coming through here in a big-time situation. And we will have a timeout on the floor taken by Wapahani. So, again, we'll go ahead and stay right here with you during this timeout. Again, we would like to thank some more of our sponsors here this evening. Again, we sure do appreciate each and every single one of them. So a big thanks here to Statham Exteriors, one of our newest sponsors. For all of your roofing, siding, window, and gutter needs, contact Statham Exteriors at 765-449-2881 or 765-702-8329. They are known for their quality workmanship for affordable prices. Again, Statham Exteriors is a proud supporter of Wapahani High School student-athletes and the WHS Network. Also a big thanks here again this evening to another one of our newest sponsors here on the WHS Network. And that is Coldwell Banker local realtor Brian Van Mater. Brian Van Mater, a part of the Van Mater Reed team at Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group, is a Wapahani alum and proudly supports Raider athletes and wishes them a fantastic 2026-2027 season. With over 60 years of combined experience, Jan Reed and Brian Van Meter offer real estate services to Delaware County as well as surrounding counties. Again, for all of your real estate needs, contact Brian Van Meter at 765-748-0557. So greatly appreciate Coldwell Banker local realtor Brian Van Meter here for his sponsorship of us here on the WHS Network. Tie game at 20. Sydney Van Devender back to serve. Received there by Washington and hit out of bounds. That was number 12, Haley Webb, on the attack. So back out front go the Raiders. Oh, service error right there. Ties it to 21. Again, the back and forth continues here as Wooten will return to the floor. And number 6, Obi back to serve. Dargo receives it. Parker sets it. And some missed timing there for Lash. We'll get the Red Devils just now 3 points away from a sweep here of Wapahani. The Raiders looking to wreak some havoc right here, though, and looking to get this to a third set. Mitchell is there. And Lash gets it over. Wooten back at it. Again, deflects it off the top of the net. And down in play there for the kill for Jakyla Wooten. Again, the Raiders have no timeouts remaining. And we'll have number 16, Maddie Duncan, return to the floor here for Wapahani. Kenzie Reed has to come out of the game. Again, had that collision there on the floor. Not quite sure if it's her nose or if it's her mouth or maybe both. But again, there was a collision maybe where they could have hit heads or she could have hit a shoulder or whatever the case might be, but there was a collision there on the floor during that last point. So she looks to be okay. Again, Maya Mitchell now back to serve, following the point there for Wapahani. Oh, that's going to be an ace. Beach couldn't get out of the way. And ends up deflecting off of her there for the ace for Maya Mitchell. So now we're tied at 23. Mitchell lays out full extension for that one. Parker gets it across. Free ball for the Red Devils. Set on there and hit into the net by Haley Webb. And the Raiders now in the driver's seat as set point has arrived. 24-23. Set on to Wooten. Oh, and again, a ball that deflects right off the top of the net and down in play. She just did that a few points ago. Again, didn't get anywhere near all of it. And it was just enough of a deception to where the ball clips the top of the net and falls down into play. There's Van Devender. Set on the Lash. Yes! So the Raiders back in front again, 25-24. Set point again for Wapahani. Lila Parker back to serve. And there's an ace, and we're heading to a third set. Heck yes. Nicely done right there by the Raiders. Again, after a rough start, kept, stayed the same course, as far as, even keel, didn't get too high, didn't get too low, got after it, and that was a great job right there for the Raiders not to give up and not to give in, and to now force this third set here tonight. So tied at one set apiece. We'll step aside, and we'll be back here on your home of the Raiders, the WHS Network. All right, welcome back here, folks. Again, we are headed to set number 3 here of tonight's junior varsity volleyball matchup with Richmond and Wapahani. Again, taking the first 2 sets here, Richmond 25-19. Then the Raiders answer back with a 26-24 second set victory. Great to see, first set win of the year. Again, had some early adversity, stayed even-keeled, didn't get too high, didn't get too low. Fought their way right back into the thick of things. And, Lord knows, throughout that second set, the set was tied probably a good 5 times. The Raiders were able to find a way to prevail. So we'll see what set number 3 has in store for us. Again, if you're just tuning in here for the first time this evening, I'm play-by-play broadcaster Brandon Morvillius. Alongside here with me, cameraman Jordan Redbeard McCoy. That's a great way to get this third set started. Here if you're Wapahani, a service error there for Richmond. And it will be number 8, Lila Parker, back to serve. Received there by number 7, Perkins, and hit into the net. Number 4, Mackenzie Smith there of Richmond. So a 2-0 start here for Wapahani. Received by Mitchell. Set on, Dargo on the attack. Wooten sends that one deep and finds that back right corner. A well-placed ball there by Jakayla Wooten of Richmond, now 2-1. It'll be number 12, Haley Webb, back to serve. Received there by Duncan. Good ball to work with. Mitchell, I think that pass went a little too far to the net, but luckily Richmond mishandled it right there. Again, some missed timing on the jump to connect that with the volleyball right there to get that one back over. So it ended up working out in our favor. Wooten with some good court vision right there, reading where Wapahani was at defensively. 3-2, Wooten back to serve. Also number 6, Daylin Obi now in the ball game for the Red Devils. And in there for the ace. And a crucial error right there for Wooten. We'll put Wapahani back in front here by 1. We'll have number 3, Shaylee Dargo, back to serve. Give you all a little bit of a different camera view here for this shot. Set up to the right side, and no good right there for Mackenzie Smith. The point there for Wapahani. So 5-3 right here. Again, we're still trying to play with things here a little bit to give you guys just another opportunity to view a game at a variety of different camera angles. So we'll just kind of want to throw that in there a little bit as that ball will sail out of bounds. We'll start to throw that in more and more as time goes along throughout the course of the season, at least here at home anyway, where we have those capabilities to do that. So 5-4, number 15, Michaela Pruitt, back to serve. Received by Van Devender. Parker now right back to her. Free ball, here we go. Lash, Parker, Van Devender. Right there was Pruitt. Set up there to Obi. Duncan gets it over. Good opportunity right here for the Raiders. Oh, my. I don't know how Mitchell stayed out of the net, but she was able to. 50-50 ball. Van Devender still gets it back over the net. Parker back to Van Devender. Washington will dig it out. I tell you what, this is a heck of a rally right here, boys and girls. Tipped over the net. Parker lays out for it. Now Van Devender. Washington now for the Red Devils. All right, folks, who wants it right here? Parker. Oh, heck yes! After it was all said and done, Lila Parker comes through with the point. Holy Moses. So number 16, Maddie Duncan, back to serve. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. I'd be plumb wore out if I was them. Parker on to Mitchell. Washington is there. Free ball here for the Raiders. Set to the left side. Parker there to Van Devender. Now Mitchell there from the middle, puts it right down the middle for the kill, 7-4. And now Richmond will be forced to take the timeout. So 7-4 Wapahani here in set number 3. Man, I'll tell you what, I mean, a rally point like that really can start to rally the troops a little bit here if you're Wapahani. Such an important point there in the game. We still have a little ways to go to get to 15, but I think, it goes a long way from the standpoint of continuing to build confidence and positivity, and really get the team up and going in the right direction together. So such a big point right there, I think, for these ladies. And I know that head coach Anthony Franklin has got to be overjoyed at this point. Confident, but obviously, you still have a job to finish right here. And he's trying to will these girls in the right direction to finish this off here in this ball game here tonight. Oh, and now the serving error. So 7-5.
Parker on to Van Dievender.
Block. Mitchell with the stuffing. Yes. 8-5 Wapahani. Sydney Van Dievender back to serve. And an ace for Van Dievender. Heck yes. 9-5 Wapahani. Washington receives that one, set close to the net. Van Dievender will dig it out, and Parker try to do the same thing out of the net as well as Lash. That didn't work out this time around, so the point there for the Red Devils after a couple of miscues there from Wapahani. It will be number 6, Daylin Obi back to serve. Wooten back in the ball game here for Richmond. Sent long, nice job, great communication there on behalf of Wapahani there in the back row. You had Duncan and Van Dievender both aware where they was at on the floor and realized that was sailing out of bounds. That was a great job by both young ladies. And out of bounds now by Mitchell. Number 4, Mackenzie Smith will sub back in for Richmond with number 11, Raylan Dunham back to serve. And that one will also be served out of bounds. So now Ryla Parker back to serve. Received there by Smith. Set up there. Wooten will get it over. Free ball for the Raiders. Here's Parker on to Dargo. Into the nets. 11-8. Van Dievender, Duncan, Mitchell gets it over, free ball for the Red Devils. Wooten on the attack, Mitchell's there, Parker to Dargo again. That was Webb with the dig to the left side, number 7, Perkins. To no prevail as the Raiders with a 12-8 lead. Got 3 more points to get. Nice serve there from Lash. Oh, heck yes, that will be an ace. Dealt there by Sophia Lash. The countdown now to a pair. Dunham on to Wooten. And in there, Wooten strikes again. $13-9 now is number 6. Obi back in the ball game. Wooten now back to serve. And Wapahani in the driver's seat, but this one far from over. And there's an ace. Head coach Anthony Franklin, I think, was just a little beside himself right there because nobody seemed to react to the ball. Ended up being, I think, off the shin or off the foot there of Lash there initially. Dargo will get it over. Webb is there. Set to the right side. Mishandled by Mackenzie Smith. So game point has arrived. Match point here for the Raiders. And we're going to have a timeout here from Richmond. And we're going to go ahead and stay right here with you during this timeout. Because, again, we would like to thank some of our sponsors here on the WHS Network and for all that they do for us. Again, a big thanks here to Elite Print Services, Debbie Curtis. For professionally designed and printed banners and signs, reach out to Debbie Curtis of Elite Print Services at 765-744-0381. Debbie Curtis is a proud supporter of the WHS Network and Wapahani Raiders student athletes. I tell you what, really an outstanding job. She got us new banners for our table that we set up for the ball games. And also a banner that went out here, or that's right here in the gymnasium. We can't show you all at the moment, but just outstanding. Truly, truly appreciate Debbie Curtis. On to Van Devender, out of bounds, and we continue on. So 14-11. And a substitution here, number 15. Michaela Pruitt now in the ball game, and she'll drop back to serve. Received by Dargo. Parker. I'll tell you what, I think Wapahani got away with one anyway because it looked like we were in the net. And now a timeout from the Raiders. So once again, we'll go ahead and thank some more of our sponsors here this evening. I'd like to send out a big thanks here to Lipscomb Laboratory. Again, also one of our newest sponsors here on the WHS Network. Lipscomb Laboratory is the place to go for all of your custom designs, logos, and embroidery needs. From embroidered hats and garments to t-shirts, we bring your ideas to life. Visit their Facebook page at Lipscomb Laboratory and give them a call at 765-639-5998. Also, big thanks here to Puerto Vallarta Mexican Restaurant since 1994. When Porta came to Muncie, it has provided great savory dishes and fun-filled family environment that has kept you coming back for more than over 3 decades. Make sure to stop on in at 3901 North Broadway Avenue in Muncie, Indiana. So following the ace, it's just now a 1-point game. I would expect nothing less. The way that this game has went tonight. There's Van Devender. Parker on to Duncan. Out of bounds. Oh no, tied at 14. That is 4 consecutive here for the Red Devils. There's Van Devender. Everything close to the net right there. There's Mitchell. Parker. Right back to Mitchell again. There was Pruitt there for the Red Devils. Sent deep. Flash will get to it. Parker cannot. And so now it's match point for Richmond. And another timeout here for the Raiders. So quite the situation that the Raiders have put themselves in here. They were on top 14-10. And since then, Richmond has answered with 5 consecutive. So what was match point for Wapahani has now turned, or as Richmond has now turned the tables, and they have now arrived at match point. Again, we've seen this, especially in the second set and then this third set as well. Close ball game. First set was kind of that way for a little bit until it wasn't. But Richmond's feeling good right now. All positivity and all, really momentum has went in favor here of the Red Devils. So the Raiders have to figure it out right here. On to Mitchell. She'll get it over. There's Lash. Parker. Here we go again. Parker tries to change it up there a little bit. Dargo. Parker back to Mitchell. And that will do it. As Richmond will take this one here tonight in 3 sets, 25-19, 24-26, 16-14. So a tough loss here tonight for the Raiders, but they will get back at it on Thursday night when they travel to Westdale. Again, no JV game tomorrow night because Blue River does not have a JV team. So just be mindful of that. Make sure to stay tuned in with us here in a little while. We'll have tonight's varsity game coming up. Until then, I'm Brandon Morvillius alongside cameraman Jordan Redbeard McCoy. Thanking all of you for watching, and we'll see you all back here next time here on your home.